We're here, it's day one. The WBC's 60th annual convention is about to be open.
We're making content for the WBC.
It's going to be a really good week.
Some colourful content there.
Loaded.
Well, learning from the man who can eat anything.
This is not what you see on television. This is the boxing world coming together as a family.
So we met in London at about 5:30. Some people were there late, no names, Jordan Pollock. But anyway, and then we went from there to London Heathrow.
I think it was 12 hours to Mexico City. Now I had a middle seat, which is the worst seat. Everyone knows that's the worst seat. So I had to do a bit of ducking and diving and bobbing and weaving, and I managed to get myself the emergency exit.
As far as flights go, especially 12-hour ones, it was a decent one. And then we had a bumpy ride on a private coach from Mexico City to Acapulco.
Today is about preparing, really. You've got people arriving today for the start of the convention tomorrow. So what we're doing is planning the content for the week, liaising with the WBC, how we provide content for them, where we're going to be on certain days, which fighters are going to be available for interviews, which ex-champions. Some of the stuff that we're most looking forward to filming is the rating sessions and the mandatory sessions, which is something that boxing fans don't generally get to see. So yeah, we're fueling up for a busy week ahead in Mexico. What's Pepe's last?
Day 2 of the WBC. Well, it's actually day 1 of the WBC convention, but our day 2. Rob, what are we doing today?
So we're going to go and see our friends and colleagues from the WBC. We're going to give them a bit of insight as to what we've got planned for this week, content-wise. We got here yesterday, but it's probably not the right day for us to go down and introduce ourselves after a 26-hour journey.
This is the convention centre, so this is where lots of things will be happening this week. It's our first time here, although second time here, because we did try and go into the sports bar yesterday, unsuccessfully.
So we let Kieran do all the Spanish talking. It's great. It's like having like a pet who speaks a different language, which I'm sure he'll be really, really grateful for me saying. But generally speaking, when you go on a trip abroad, I mean, in general, whether you're working or you're on holiday, there's a lot of hand gestures and shouting, but it's really good. We kind of like pull Kieran in front of him, like, Kieran, speak Spanish.
So basically explain that we're making content for the WBC, so we need access to the PSD, so our editor, our designer can then jump in and make amends, etc.
Nosotros no sabemos exactamente lo que tienes, pero si nos puede enviar, digamos, los archivos principales para la convención, estaríamos muy agradecidos.
This is our little army. They're awesome girls. They're volunteers. They're helping us out. They're doing the kits. So as you can see, they're like, you know, Santa Claus from the gifts. Then we have the flags. That's gonna be for the opening ceremony. And you'll see a bunch of piñatas over there because Mauricio likes piñatas whenever we're in Mexico.
This is Pepe, who works for the WBC. Pepe, what's your role at WBC?
So I do pretty much like a bunch of communication, a bunch of marketing. I try to work with licenses. For example, and I'm just gonna go ahead. Like we just closed this license with Roots of Fight, and what we do is they help us push the WBC brand around, so that they know that it's not only people see the WBC as just the guys that sanction fights, but we do so much around boxing. Like we help fighters in need. We do programs in prisons, which not a lot of people know about. We help, we do the WBC Cares, for example. That also is a program that helps children in need, mostly children that suffer with cancer and foster homes, for example. I do a lot of public relationships with like you guys and just a bunch of brands that want to help.
They're behind the scenes at the WBC convention. These ladies have been working very hard, filling up the goodie bags, getting all the piñatas ready, and yeah, welcome to the convention. And we should have warned them before we did this. Okay, so we're here behind the scenes at the WBC convention. We've seen all of these boxes, all the sponsor stuff. We've got the piñatas at the back, and they're all being put together by the amazing WBC team.
Bienvenidos a la convención WBC.
Very good. Very good. Gracias. Gracias.
Nice to see you. How are you? Nice to see you. You're looking well.
You're looking white.
I know. I need to get on the bed.
Good to see you. Cool.
How are
Hi
you?
Mauricio.
Hello, how are you?
Jordan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Kieran.
Muy bien, perfecto.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
So this is one of our videographers for the week. So this is going to be the main person who's going to be capturing all of the content. How are you?
Good, good, good. Very
Excited
happy.
for the week? Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we've gone through everything with Pepe and everything, so everything's all prepared and we're all ready to go.
Excellent.
We're filming everything. We'll be doing some nice little bits and pieces.
You
to
ready,
show
sir? You got everything?
Yeah, we're waiting on when it's come back, but we're okay. Do you have time for a quick photo before we get going? Where should we do it? We'll do it by the belt?
Is that okay?
No? I mean, I'm sure you're going to get stopped. We may have to wait a little bit of time now for Mauricio. The distance between here and getting the photo done, I think he's probably going to be stopped a few times, but...
Almost certainly.
It might take about half an hour to get this photo. This
Thank you very much.
Jeremy, if you get a bit of video and a bit of photo, yeah?
Excited?
Very excited.
As usual, all the best content. That's what you can expect from ID Boxing. I think what we're going to deliver this week is a good in-depth behind-the-scenes look at what happens at something like the WBC convention. A lot of people, hardcore fans included, have a preconceived idea of how the WBC works or how any of the organisations work, but they don't often see a lot of the things that go on behind the scenes. And even with things like the convention, they don't know everything that goes on a day-to-day basis, and we know our audience and we know what they would enjoy, and I think that they're going to get some great content this week, things they've never seen before from people like the WBC and some of the legends of the sport. So yeah, I think it'll be a really good in-depth look at an important part of boxing and how it works.
My boy Ben Faruqi, thank you for talking to ID Boxing. Over and out.
Thank you.
Now, if people are watching this, they probably know ID Boxing. And one of the things that we always try and do is be different. We want to be different. We want to be thinking further ahead than anyone and trying to make content that we as fight fans want to consume. So the reason we're here is to provide an insight that people don't really get. It's easy to see content that the WBC are pushing out and you think, well, they've got an agenda, so they're trying to push their message, and they've got a lot of good messages, so fair enough for them for that. But we wanted to provide an insight that you don't really get anywhere else. ID Boxing is all about impartial coverage, and I think us being at an event like this allows us to A, be connected to champions, and B, to provide fight fans with actually a behind the scenes look at what goes into a convention, why it happens. People always talk about mandatories and ratings. People go absolutely mad for it. You're going to see why this week.
Once a year, everybody kind of converges onto a city around the world, whether it's Acapulco, where we are now, Las Vegas, Bangkok, wherever, and they come and they lobby the case for their fighters to move up in the rankings, become mandatories, and you know, the WBC always tweaking and changing what they do and how they kind of govern the sport and how they operate.
I'm looking forward to the ratings and the sort of mandatories. Really looking forward to seeing how that all works and plays out and being part of that.
Being with the team, getting away, like going somewhere new is always exciting. It helps, it's one of the things that makes the job so interesting. I'm looking forward to giving new content to people.
One thing I'm most excited about for this week is having the opportunity to sit in and see the ratings and the mandatories. That's something that I think boxing fans in general, I mean, it's something that I know in my head how it operates, but I've never seen it up close and personal. I've sat in on a couple of the WBC ratings and mandatory sessions in the past on Zoom. Of course, we've had the pandemic, so I've not been able to have the conventions as they are now. But showing people that it's not just one man who sits there and kind of goes, mandatory's gonna be Deontay Wilder, well done, come down Deontay.
What I'm most nervous about this week is live streams. live streams are like, they're the bane of our lives. Everyone wants their live stream to just run smoothly. You almost always have an issue. Since we got Ben Faruqi on the team, it's been smooth as butter, I have to say. It's been like clockwork. But that's probably what I'm most nervous about. I am confident, but there's a little bit of nerves.
I don't know if there's anything I'm nervous about.
One thing that I'm nervous about, not really nervous about, you know me quite well, I don't really get too nervous about really anything. I think because of the job and the nature of what we do, everything's always moving quite fast. Thinking probably the 48 hours before we leave, it's kind of like, okay, shit, we're going to Mexico. I need to kind of think of this, I need to think of that. Day 2 here in Acapulco at the WBC convention, and it's the welcome cocktail evening. As you can see behind us, it's a vibrant evening here in Mexico. It's a little bit hot and a little bit clammy, but that's not going to stop us from having a good time. So I think all of the fighters, all of the managers are all coming together before the grand opening tomorrow. So here's a bit of a soft launch where everybody gets together, sits down, shares a few stories, shares a few drinks, and has a good time. So we're going to go inside and we'll see you soon.
I mean, this is my first time in Acapulco, but it's my first time in the WBC, and just the atmosphere, champion, the legend champions, you know, the former world champions. I mean, I'm having a great time.
So I'd love to sit down and do something proper with you. So it's going to be so.
We got a lot of time.
Yeah, actually brilliant. So I just wanted to come over and say hello.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Have you got a good UK accent?
I got my Scottish accent.
That's not Scottish. I'm not Scottish. I'm English.
I know.
Really, but I reckon he can still throw down. I think I can take him. Big Daddy versus Big Belly.
And Sprite. Jeremy, do you want anything?
Sprite.
Y otro también de Sprite.
Cheers. This is like a tonic.
Welcome all of you to the 60th annual WBC convention here in Acapulco.
Tiny those little Reyes gloves are. You want to be hit with one of them.
This is looking a bit wild.
To the United States. I can't really believe that he's still going.
I was like, what are you talking about? And he was calling me Big Daddy. So my name is Big Daddy.